Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
Antifa exists. Antifa exists.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
And then they have cans of soup. Soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup for my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. Isn't it wonderful to allow protest? And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, yeah,
better
I'm
than
talking
a
about our
brick
police.
because you can't throw
Pigs in a
brick, it's too
blanket,
heavy.
fry them
But a
like
can of soup,
bacon.
you can really put
Pigs
some
in a
power
blanket,
into that.
fry them
And then
like
when they get
bacon.
caught, they say,
Pigs in a
"This is
blanket,
soup from
pigs in
my
a blanket,
family."
pigs in a blanket,
They're so
pigs in a
innocent. This
blanket,
is soup
pigs
from
in a
my
blanket,
family.
pigs in a blanket, pigs in a
It's
blanket,
incredible.
pigs in a
And people
blanket,
coming over
fry
with
them
bags.
like bacon. Pigs in a blanket. Pigs talking about our police. Pigs talking about our police. Talking about our police. Talking about our police. In a blanket. Police. About our police. Pigs in a blanket. Fry them like bacon.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation. Can you hear me? Is this thing on? My microphone's way over here. Hello, users! Can you hear me? Is this fucking is it on? Does anyone know? Am I getting picked up? Am I getting picked up? Am I getting picked up, folks? Is this happening? Am I getting picked up? Testing, testing. Can you hear me on the airwaves? That's right, folks. We're on the airwaves now. We're not actually, but am I getting picked up? We getting picked up? Woo! Woo! What's up? How's it going? All right, folks, it's episode 1312 of Above It All. That's right, 1312. We made it. It's happening. So, probably going to cover some cop stories today. We'll get into some stuff. We got some stuff to get into. There's some stuff. And we'll get into it. So, I would like to start the day off with the recap. That's right, folks. We're going to recap yesterday's protest demonstration. Alrighty. So yesterday was day 129 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City in the county of Pasquotank County over the police assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. that took place on April 21st, 2021. We have been doing a demonstration every single day for the last 129 days, and we're not going to stop. We refuse. It's simply just not going to happen. And even if it were to happen, just kidding. I'm not even going to go down that thought process because it's not going to happen. So what happened on April 21st should never happen. Again, we had 7 sheriff deputies from Pasquotank County, 2 sheriff deputies from Dare County, set up an assassination of Andrew Brown Jr. In the process of shooting and killing Andrew Brown Jr., several of the sheriff deputies shot at each other. That's right, folks. Friendly fire. Unfortunately, no damage was done to their lives. But they also shot into neighboring houses. They were firing bullets haphazardly in a school zone. That's right, folks. Right down the street, not even down the street, but like a couple like houses over is a school, an elementary school. So at 8:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, they were firing bullets into a school zone. Something that should not be allowed, something that should not be possible, yet it is in Pasquotank County in Elizabeth City. And why is that? Why hasn't the Elizabeth City Police Department, stepped up to the plate and arrested the sheriff deputies of Pasquotank County? They broke the law in our city. They violated their own laws, they violated their own handbooks, and they broke the law in Elizabeth City. So why doesn't Elizabeth City Police step up and do what needs to be done and arrest those 7 sheriff deputies? Well, we know why, because all cops are bastards and they all work together. They're all best friends. So, we've been out here for 129 days in a row. And again, we're not stopping. It's not going to happen. No matter how hard, people are annoyed or whatever by us chanting for justice for, 15 to 30 minutes a day, it's not going to stop. Again, police violence is a huge problem. I've been out here protesting police violence for 129 days. I did not think that whenever episode 1312 of the show were to happen, I didn't think that these protests would still be happening, but here we are. And again, I just want to say that I am 1000% against police brutality. I believe in total abolition. I believe we need to get rid of all law enforcement agencies, and we need to start from scratch on how we enforce laws. We need to start from scratch on what laws are being enforced. Andrew Brown Jr. was assassinated over drugs. Drugs. What? Because he wanted to tweak his consciousness or sell other people the ability to tweak their consciousness? That's a death sentence? Well, but what if his drugs were laced? Okay. Well, what if the drugs were legal and you could just go to the store and get regulated drugs that aren't laced? Wouldn't that be a better world where people wouldn't be getting assassinated? What if it were allowed to, let's say you have an addiction and you want to get rehabilitative services for free, and you could just do so by walking into a service. You don't have to worry about losing your job. You don't have to worry about losing your family. You don't have to worry about how you're going to pay for it. What if that's the world we lived in? And we could live in that world. There are other countries on this earth that are living in that world right now. And people are dying less from drug overdoses. People are dying not at all from bad batches of drugs or drugs that are laced for things. People are not being executed in the streets for doing, using, or selling drugs. And things are going pretty well. So why can't we do that in the United States of America? Well, the reason is because the prison industrial complex makes a very hefty profit on throwing people in jail for stupid-ass garbage. What if we threw people in jail for smoking cigarettes? What if we threw people in jail for drinking wine? If you don't understand what the problems with the drug laws in America are, I've got news for you. You're either a racist motherfucker or a stupid motherfucker, and probably both. But either way, we've been out here for 129 days straight. We're not going to stop until we get what we desire, and that is all 7 of the Pasquotank County Sheriff deputies need to be fired, banned from ever being law enforcement ever again, and thrown in jail for murder, because that's what they did. All right, folks. I want to give a little bit of a flashback to, a moment. I'm going to give a little bit of a flashback, folks. So I want to play this little nugget. I played this on stream a little bit before, but this is a little nugget. So because it's episode 1312 of Above It All, I want to remind everyone of when I made a cop so uncomfortable that they started to cry, and then they had someone else relieve them of their position. So this was at some point during the Elizabeth City protests. When a driver had driven through the protests and hit several people, and the cops moved out of the way and let them do it. And when I asked the police why they're not doing anything about apprehending the suspect, they said, we have to keep them safe from you. That's what they said. And so that night, we went down to the police station. People were giving their witness reports, and they had several cops guard the police station because they thought that, we were going to burn it down or some stupid shit. And so I heckled the police officers for about half an hour, and I made one of them cry. And so I wanted to, do a little bit of a flashback on this one. So this is a 17-minute video in total. Maybe one day I'll have to edit it together and remove any personal information. But this is pretty good. So this is the officer, What
if your baby grows up 20 years from now? Hey, Mom, I was looking through the internet, and this is what I found. You used to be a cop? Maybe you still will be a cop? Lord have mercy on your child's soul if you're still a cop after 20 years.
So what she was doing is basically for 15 minutes straight, I was just attacking her, on a personal level. I was basically just making her feel like garbage. And so she was doing this thing where she's adjusting her face mask. She would often, very often, look down and look sad. At one point, look at this. I saw her, wipe her eyes. She looks very depressed. And then so when you scroll through, eventually, all of a sudden, she's gone. So at some point, after about 15 minutes of being brutally harassed by myself and a couple of other people, she called for backup and got someone to replace her. And she did not want to be in a situation where she was being brutally harassed. So, this is something I'm proud of. People might watch this and go like, damn, what the hell? You're assassinating the boys in blue or the women in blue, whatever. Me personally, I don't view police as humans. I view them as abusers. I view them as oppressors. I view them as, like 40% of cops are domestic abusers. And so, that's something you have to understand. So, basically she left. It's possible that she was scheduled to leave, and it just so happens that, she was crying and, trying to radio for help. This guy, by the way, I asked him what his favorite Call of Duty game was, and he said Black Ops 2. Like, what a fucking idiot. But either way, that's a little bit of a flashback for you. One of these days, I'm going to upload this whole video. But it's a classic moment in the above it all history of when I made a police officer cry and run away. I was a very big fan of that moment. And again, you can say that that's rude. You can say that that's evil. I know that there's a lot of conservatives out there that think that that's evil, but you know what I think is evil? I think, evil is 40% of cops, being domestic abusers. I think evil is cops, refusing to apprehend people that run down, protesters, during a sanctioned, permitted protest. That's what I think is evil. I think evil is shooting someone in the back of the head when they're trying to run away from you. That's what I think is evil. So all cops are bastards. Go fuck them all straight to hell. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a shit about their feelings. I don't give a shit about anything related to them until they take that badge off. This motherfucker said Black Ops 2. Remade, I gotta really cover that. I'm sorry. Is there an above it all lore? There could be. There very well could be. So, another fuck the cops news. Let me set this segment up.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
So, we have the situation in the United States of America where police are refusing vaccine mandates. Now, as we all know, police are state workers, and it is within governor's power, and it is within other, state officials' power to mandate that state employees become vaccinated. Police unions in this country are saying, hell no! We want to run around unmasked in our communities and spread a virus to people for no reason. That's their decision. A lot of them are comparing vaccine mandates to Nazi Germany. Yeah, guess what? If you want to compare police and Nazi Germany, I've got news for you. You're not on the right side of history there. Reminder, during the Nuremberg trials, what did the Nazis say? What was their defense? What were their pleas for mercy? They said they were just following orders. Well, whenever you talk to a police officer and you ask them why you arrested someone for smoking a blunt, what do they say? Just following orders. Whenever you ask a police officer where they shot and killed someone in the back of the head, what do they say? They were just following orders. There is no difference between Nazis and police in the United States of America. The only difference is, are we in 1945 or are we in 1933? That's the difference. But the mindset that will lead someone to kill other people, to put other people in danger, all under the guise of law enforcement and following orders, that is something that is very much like Nazi Germany. But guess what? It is not like the Jewish people hiding from the Gestapo. It is the Gestapo that they are very much so comparable to. So let's read this article. This is from The Atlantic. It was after Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced that she would pursue a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all city employees that the local Fraternal Order of Police President John finally understood what it was like to be a Jew in Hitler's Germany. We're in America, goddammit. We don't want to be forced to do anything. Period. This ain't Nazi fucking Germany, where they say, step into the fucking showers, the pills won't hurt you. What the fuck? What the fuck is right? A few tiny holes weaken this metaphor. Public employees being compelled to take a life-saving vaccine that will prevent them from spreading a deadly virus is not quite the same as being the subject to genocide. The comparison often manages to even be more strained than the one of the film Office Space, when the protagonist compares TGI Friday's requirement that employees sport flair to the Nazis forcing Jews to bear symbols identifying themselves as Jews. And that was meant to be a joke about terrible Nazi analogies. Police unions all over the country have been rebelling against the possibility of vaccine mandates. In New York City, the largest police union is threatening to sue over a potential vaccine mandate, calling immunization a, quote, personal medical decision. All cops are bastards. If your coworkers say, hey, I have an idea, let's go shoot someone in the back of the head for fun. If your coworker says, hey, I have an idea, let's go cough on old people when we stop and frisk them and give them a virus because we're deadly carriers and we're unmasked. If your coworker says, hey, fuck this pandemic, let's kill people. You know what I would do? In that instance where my coworkers would say that, I would leave my fucking job. But there is no good cop. There cannot be a good cop. There will not be a good cop in a system where this is how cops are being represented. If, again, there is a good cop, and they cover for bad cops, if you have 1,300 cops, good cops, and 12 bad cops, and the good cops don't rat out the bad cops, you've got 1,312 bad cops, folks. And you need to understand that. Covering up murder, covering up attempted murder, covering up assault, is just as bad as those crimes themselves. If my brother was a serial killer, which, hey, he might be, I don't know. But if he was a serial killer and I knew he was a serial killer, and I knew who his next victim was, and I chose not to act, I would be an accomplice to murder in that instance. Because I did not choose to act accordingly. I chose to cover for someone who is clearly a horrible person, instead of doing the right thing. There is no such thing as a good cop. There will never be a good cop in this system. In a nation where police themselves argue that the defiance of their directives can justify fatal force, it is more than a little bizarre to hear police officers analogizing vaccine requirements to Nazi Germany, or insisting that the state cannot dictate their behavior. The police are an arm of the state. Their job largely consists of using their authority to force people to do things in the name of public safety. Police will shoot and kill people over weed. Police will send people into metal cages for 30 years for weed. That reminds me an awful lot of what's going on, or what was going on in Nazi Germany. Again, if your job is to, quote, just follow orders, and now, all of a sudden, this specific order can't do it, that proves that they are capable of not following orders. So when it comes to killing people, just following orders. When it comes to throwing people in metal cages for 30 years for smoking weed, just following orders. When it comes to breaking people's legs, shooting them in a way that permanently disables them, just following orders. When it comes to taking life-saving medicine that's going to help end a pandemic that's killing hundreds of thousands of Americans, all of a sudden, that is what puts them in a different perspective. That means they are capable of rebelling. That means they are capable of not following orders. And again, if they're carrying out orders of sending people to jail for the rest of their lives for having weed on them, but they're not following orders when it comes to taking life-saving medicine, I've got news for you. It's because they like doing those things. They like ruining people's lives. They like assaulting people. They like killing people. That's why they sign up to be police. 80% of cops voted for Donald Trump. 40% of cops are domestic abusers. That is also the goal of vaccine mandates, which, unlike policing, do not bear the same risk of potential physical harm to the public. Vaccination is not a personal decision because eschewing vaccination puts others at risk. I cannot catch your bad haircut or your ugly tattoo. Your preference for Game of Thrones' final season of the Atkins diet or the Atkins diet are not contagious. Another person's devout adherence to a different faith does not prevent me from committing to my own. Immunization should be required for government employees. It should be required for everyone that is capable of taking a vaccine. Because yes, there are people that cannot take a vaccine. So that's why I took a vaccine. Because I know that children under 12, people that are immunocompromised who might not be able to take the vaccine, I do it for them. I want to end this pandemic so that they don't have to fear for the rest of their lives going outside. I want to do my part in putting this all behind us so that they can maybe go outside again and live a normal life. That's my responsibility as someone who can take the vaccine. And again, most 99% of people can take the vaccine. As someone who can take the vaccine, it is my and our responsibility to do what we need to do to end this pandemic so that everyone, even the people that can't take the vaccine, are allowed to live happily ever after. But cops aren't going to do that. Anyway, I said what I need to say. Fuck cops. All cops are bastards. Buxton, you're a dumbass? Are we not allowed to have opinions in this country? I have to be a politician to have an opinion? Lord have mercy. What a stupid, dumb fuck motherfucker. Like, imagine actually thinking, one, that there are some good cops, and two, that in order to have political opinions, you need to be an elected official? Huh? If my coworker kills someone and I don't rat them out, I'm an accomplice to murder. What don't you understand about that? Every police department in this country has murdered someone. Every single one without exception. Every single murderer in a police department has had people not rat them out. Sending people to steal boxes for 30, 40, 50 years of their lives, stealing their lives, is a crime against humanity? Imagine thinking calling a political discussion complaining is a novel or clever. These motherfuckers, they just come in here and they just say the stupidest fucking shit. And they think that they're intelligent. That's the thing. Is they think, like, again, if let's analogize Nazi Germany. These are the people that would be like, oh, the Jews are just complaining. So what if they have to wear the yellow stars? Why are they complaining so much? Why don't they just become a politician? Hey, Jew, just be a politician already instead of complaining. Fucking freak. Go fuck yourself. Body cam video shows Loveland police shooting man in mental health crisis armed with knife. Armed with knife. By the way, this is a beautiful dog. Loveland police have released the body camera footage and the recording of the 911 call that led police to shoot a man last week outside his home. Nearly 2 weeks after the shooting, the 19-year-old man, Alex Domina, remains in the hospital. Domina's guardian had called the police asking for help to calm Domina down during a mental health crisis. This is the world we live in where mental health is not taken seriously. Someone is feeling unwell and having a crisis. Oh, let's call for help. and that help comes and shoots them. In some instances, kills them. There was one instance where 2 cops went to respond to a mental health call, and then an off-duty cop followed them just for fun, walked in, pulled his gun out, and killed the man. Said, "I don't have time for this," and killed the man. And then later on, they found that cop was on drugs. But that's a different story than this one. The body camera footage shows an officer, Eddie Luzin, approach the yard at the side of the house calmly. From the other side of the yard, he asked Domina to talk to him and several times asked him to put down a kitchen knife he was holding. If you are an armed agent with a gun and you can't disarm someone with a knife, consider a different career. About 1 minute into their interaction, Domina walks toward the officers. The officer warned him, "Do not come near me." As Domina approached, still carrying the knife, Luzin told him forcefully to stop, and then he shot 4 times, hitting Domina in the abdomen. Another officer then arrived to help deliver first aid. Once they were able to take the knife away. Huh? They were shot on the ground, bleeding, and they still watched him. Oh, and then maybe they kicked the knife out of his hand as he's dying on the floor. Again, there is no good cop. There are no good cops. There will never be a good cop. If this is the system, if this is the training practices that they go through, there's no de-escalation training. You ever see those movies where someone's threatening suicide on the top of a building and you see all the cops try to talk them out of it? That doesn't actually happen. Those instances in real life are like this, where someone's having a mental health crisis. Cops come, don't even try to talk them out of it, don't ask them what the problem is, and instead say, "Don't come near me," and then shoot to kill. You need to understand, there is no good cop. There will never be a good cop in this country. On the 911 recording, the caller, who identified herself as Judy Domina, Alex Domina's legal guardian, immediately told the call taker, "We have a young man that's having a mental breakdown." She continued telling the call taker more information in a calm and matter-of-fact voice. "He's breaking everything and throwing stuff. We need assistance immediately." There's a spider on my window, but it's on the opposite side. Almost scared the shit out of me, folks. She said Domina was a danger to himself and us, indicating she was looking to get him help getting him under control. She said Domina would need to be committed. She told the dispatcher that Domina had been institutionalized for years and just came to live with her in June. Then her tone changed to more of a plea, asking the dispatcher, please handle him with care. It's mental health. They called asking for help and were as explicit as possible. The spider fell off the window. As explicit as possible, saying he needs help. Do not hurt him. We need to help him. And what did the police go to do? Shoot to kill. Paid leave. If I were working at the grocery store and I had a box cutter and I was opening boxes and an old lady was behind me, right? Now let's say I was opening the box cutter's out, opening the box, and let's say I swing past, right? And say, whoops, sorry, old lady. Didn't hurt her or anything. But let's say I still have the box cutter in my hand. And the old lady is like, whoa, oh my God, watch out. And then I say, don't talk to me like that. And then I stab her in the throat. Would I get paid vacation? Does anyone know? Would the grocery store say, we don't really know what happened. We're going to have to investigate. Right now, our employee is on paid vacation so that they can sit at home and watch Netflix. We don't really know what's going on. All we know is, no, I would be fired, and then I would be sent to jail for the rest of my life. So why is it different when it comes to police? What if the old lady said, hey, do you know where the Cookie Crisps are? And then I took that box cutter and I stabbed her 15 times. Would I get a paid vacation? No! I would go to jail for the rest of my life. Why is this any different for police officers? Since the spring, the department has been under scrutiny over the forceful arrest of a 73-year-old woman with dementia. A federal civil rights lawsuit was filed. Officers injured the woman, Karen Garner, after she left a Walmart with nearly $14. Imagine saying that. Nearly whoever's writing this, CPR.org. Nearly $14. No. You don't say nearly in these instances. You don't. If it's like $500, $5,000, and it's like, let's say it's $4,974, then sure, nearly $5,000. It's $14. This went viral. This is the same police department, apparently, which store employees recovered before her arrest. This is a system that trains people to kill. It trains people to shoot. It trains people to view others as non-humans. The role of police in the United States of America is to cull the population of undesirables. That is why smoking weed is illegal and you can go to jail for 30, 40 years for it. That is why, again, having any form of mental health crisis can result in death in the United States of America. Because they don't want to deal with you. It's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous. This is all the news in one day, folks. All these news stories, this is from today and yesterday. Honolulu police fatally shoot armed man barricaded inside Kako apartment. An armed 33-year-old man who barricaded himself in his Kako, I'm so sorry, apartment this afternoon was shot and killed by Honolulu police. Huh? Why do they have to say he's armed? You know who else are armed? The fucking thugs that killed this guy. It's the 6th officer shooting this year and the 4th fatality, according to police. At around 1:45 p.m., police responded to a call about a distraught male who was possibly armed at his apartment building located at 10 blah blah blah, according to Honolulu Police Department interim chief blah blah blah. Vanek held a news conference at HPD's downtown headquarters to discuss the shooting at around 8 p.m. and said police were still at the scene investigating. He said a crisis negotiation team was deployed and had talked with the suspect for 3 hours, during which time he opened and closed the door multiple times while brandishing a handgun, said Vanek, who later added that he wasn't sure if the suspect had been threatening anyone. Vanek also noted the suspect was bleeding from his arm. Why would someone barricade themselves in their apartment if they were planning on hurting other people? And also, is there proof? Do the crisis managers have body cameras that we can see him entering the scene with a gun? A struggle ensued between the male and several SWAT officers. During the struggle, the male... also, let me read this. At around 4:35 p.m., an officer from HPD's Specialized Services Division, or SWAT team, fired a less lethal rubber bullet at the suspect that was ineffective. Huh? So they escalated. They saw someone having some sort of crisis. They were afraid for their lives for whatever reason, and they decided, let's just shoot at him for fun. A struggle ensued between the male and several SWAT officers. Also, the male. What kind of dehumanizing language is that? A struggle ensued between the male. This is a human fucking being, folks. A living, breathing, at one point, a living human being going through a crisis, and then news media just refer the male, like they're livestock. And several SWAT officers. During the struggle, the male pointed the handgun at one of the officers. At that time, another officer shot the man, fatally striking him. What? What? The man was apparently alone in his apartment and was shot once. The details of the struggle with officers are still unclear. How are they unclear? Just wait. No police footage is available because SWAT officers do not wear body-worn cameras. I've got news for you. When you kill someone and it's confirmed that your gun fired the kill shot, that's all the evidence I need to throw you in jail for the rest of your life. If you're wearing body camera, right, and it shows that your life was in danger, all right, great. Let's have that conversation. But you cannot roam around without evidence and just pump lead into people's brains and assume that you're going to get away with it. Not in my country. That is unacceptable. Why don't they wear body cameras? So that they can get away with killing people for fun. And again, once again, placed on administrative leave. Paid vacation. You kill someone and you get paid vacation. It's an incentive. They're thinking, man, if I just nail a kill shot, I can get a couple weeks off and finish binging that show on Netflix that I've been trying to watch. I can get a couple weeks off and maybe I can take that cruise I wanted to do. I can get a couple weeks off. Maybe I can sit down and play some Halo with the boys. It's an incentive. An incentive to kill. This is all across the country. It's happening every day, everywhere, all the time. There is no such thing as a good cop, folks. I don't know how many times I need to tell you. New York Police Department releases body cam video from police-involved shooting on Staten Island. Let's watch.
Needs to rebuild its ridership, and it needs to rebuild.
That's live news. Let's refresh the page.
The NYPD released body cam video in last month's police-involved shooting that injured a man on Staten Island. Video shows the 45-year-old taking off while EMS workers attempted to treat him. Later, officers opened fire inside an apartment complex when police say the man lunged at them while swinging a metal pipe. He faces a series of charges.
Nice body camera footage. It doesn't show the actual shooting. Let's read. The NYPD has released body camera video. Why doesn't it show the actual shooting, by the way? Involved shooting that injured a man on Staten Island. Video shows the 45-year-old taking off while EMS workers attempted to treat him. Later, officers opened fire inside an apartment complex where other people, including children, including the elderly, are living. They are firing bullets inside of apartments because of a metal pipe? A metal pipe. Again, all the stories I'm covering today are from the last 36 hours. You're telling me you've got body armor, years of police training, and you can't disarm someone with a pipe? And you have to feel the need to shoot willy-nilly in an apartment complex where kids are living? Later, officers opened fire inside. Okay, he faces a series of charges. Who faces the series of charges? The cop who shot him or the guy? They don't even mention that. Read more.
A Staten Island man.
This is apparently July 24th, but either way, the body camera... Why did they release the body camera footage, but only bits and pieces months afterward? What the fuck? Officers say the suspect was behaving erratically. Whoa, folks, whoa. Photo shows the metal pipe. Let's look at this. You're telling me you shot someone over that? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this a joke? Like, is Ashton Kutcher gonna, like, hop in through my window and say, oh, all these news, this is, like, you got punked, kid. Like, what? You shoot and attempt to kill someone over that because you can't disarm someone. Why do we train police officers if they can't disarm someone with a metal fucking pipe? A metal fucking pipe? Are you joking? You try to kill someone over a metal fucking pipe. This is the world we live in, folks. All cops are bastards. Every single one. New York. What were the Honolulu, right? Hawaii. I don't even know where the other one was that I mentioned. And there's, like, again, I'm looking on Google News, and there's so many stories of all of this shit. Cops just killing people. For no fucking reason. Motorcyclist fatally shot after pursuit by Palmer and Wasilla police when he reached for what turned out to be a BB gun, a toy. Shot and killed for a fucking, like, make-believe gun? Published 17 hours ago. Palmer and Wasilla police officers shot at and killed a motorcyclist Thursday evening after he led them on a 17-minute pursuit and then attempted to retrieve what appeared to be a handgun from a holster. The Alaska State Trooper said in a statement, upon further investigation, officials discovered the firearm was a full-size BB gun designed to look like a handgun, the department said. The incident began at 6:43 p.m., officials said, when a 27-year-old Wasilla resident, Zakwa Radla Maxon, was driving a motorcycle near the Alaska State Fairgrounds and did not stop. So he was driving a motorcycle. Was he speeding? So let me get this straight. You're driving a motorcycle, and some thug armed gangsters demand that you pull over, and they point guns at you, and you're thinking, holy shit, what is this, MS-13? Well, like, why are they chasing me down the... Oh my god, I gotta defend myself, and then you get shot and killed by the gangsters. What? This is self-defense. Everything I read here is self-defense. Were they speeding? Were they breaking any traffic laws? Were they doing anything wrong whatsoever? Or did cops just feel like they wanted to kill someone for fun? Wasilla Police Department officers joined the pursuit after Palmer police requested assistance. Radla Maxon stopped on Church Road near Spruce Avenue in Wasilla and attempted to retrieve, a holstered handgun from his belt, the trooper's statement said. Palmer and Wasilla officers fired, and Radla Maxon was killed. Troopers didn't specify how many officers fired their weapons, but those who did were placed on administrative leave, paid vacation. Paid vacation. You kill someone, paid vacation. In Alaska, paid vacation. Hawaii, paid vacation. New York, paid vacation. Every story I'm covering, they all got paid vacation. They're all sitting on their ass watching the latest Netflix movies. This is all over the fucking country, even in Alaska. Alaska is literally separated from the United States, you know, the contiguous states, and they're still killing people. Were they speeding? Why didn't they mention why they were trying to pursue him? You'd think, oh, we just killed someone. Let's at least say why we were trying to chase them. Was their taillight busted? Were they speeding? Were they trying to, did they kidnap someone? Were they wanted for something? Nah. We just really felt like doing a random traffic stop and they didn't want to, so we killed them. What the fuck? Max is roaming around downstairs. Anyway, folks, DC police released body camera video of an officer shooting man in a car. I covered this the other day when it happened. So this is from NBC Washington. Let's watch. Is there audio?
Shooting and killing a man in Northeast Washington.
Yeah, that officer fired at a man who was sleeping inside a car along New York Avenue early yesterday morning. Now, investigators tell us the man had a gun in his waistband. The body camera video shows the car slightly lurch forward. Moments later, an officer fired multiple shots. You can see multiple angles of the shooting here, but none show a clear picture of what was happening inside the vehicle.
And here is another perspective, this from a nearby witness. You can see multiple officers surrounding the car and then suddenly disperse. News 4's Paul Wagner has the latest on this.
At 2:45 Wednesday morning, D.C. police get a call for a man asleep at the wheel of a car on New York Avenue at Florida Avenue Northeast. When officers arrive, they see the man at the wheel has a pistol on the right side of his waistband. His foot is on the brake and his left hand is on the wheel. Officers call for backup, get a shield, and attempt to wake him.
Move up closer. Move up. Where's the gun there? Where's the gun there? Should we knock?
For several minutes, the officers keep an eye on the man as an officer with the shield gets in position.
Hey, come closer. Put the light on his hand. Knock on the window.
You ready?
Yeah, I see him.
You ready now?
I see him. He ain't waking up.
Don't move.
Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Watch your hands. Watch your hands. Please, don't move.
They shot and killed someone for running away. This reminds me a lot of what happened in Elizabeth City with Andrew Brown Jr. Shot and killed for running away. A fleeing suspect. Andrew Brown Jr. didn't even have a gun on him. They just killed him anyway. They went in there to kill him. But this is the situation. You run away from armed thug gangsters. Caravans of armed thugs are running through our cities, killing people that are running away from them? What the fuck is going on in this country? There is no good cop. All cops are bastards. Every single one of them without exception. Because if my coworker at the gas station decided to just pull out a gun and kill someone for buying a hot dog, you know what I would do? I would either quit my job if my manager was like, yo, that was awesome, I'm going to give you a raise. I would quit my job if that were the case. If my manager was like, yo, you want paid vacation? Here, I'll buy you plane tickets. You're going to Hawaii. You know what I would do? I would quit my fucking job. And I would go and do my best to make sure that that criminal gets the justice that he deserves. But when it comes to police, they're above the law. They can do whatever the fuck they want because nothing matters when it comes to cops. They can go on killing sprees all over the goddamn country for fun. And then, after they get a cool kill in, they get a paid vacation. They probably go to the tattoo artist to get their little trophy tattoo or whatever it is that they do to celebrate another kill under their belt. And then they go back to work and they gear up and they get ready and they roam the streets in caravans of thug gangsters waiting for the next person to kill. Because that's policing in America. I'm going to turn my AC on. Anyway, folks, that's episode 1312 of Above It All. Hopefully that was a good show. I mean, share the show if you liked it. Share the show with anyone that you feel like needs to hear this information. Obviously, I'm going to put all the segments today in specific clips, but these are all stories over the last 36 hours. Show the show, folks. Show the motherfucking show. Lord have motherfucking mercy. Anyway, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, I will be back once again at 9 a.m. Monday, I will be back at 10 a.m. And we'll go from there. So share the goddamn. And y'all have a wonderful fucking day. And don't call the cops. Because if you do, they're gonna fucking kill you.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, they were talking about police. Pigs in a blanket, talking about pigs, talking about our police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, pigs, fry pigs, like bacon. Pigs, talking the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter. Pigs, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, pigs, talking about pigs, pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them, pigs, like bacon. Pigs, first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter. Pigs, they were chanting, pigs in a blanket, pigs, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them, pigs, like bacon. Pigs, first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter. Pigs, they were chanting, pigs, talking about our police. Fry them, talking like bacon. Fry them, pigs, like bacon. Fry them, like bacon. Fry them, like bacon. Fry them, like bacon. Fry them, like bacon. Chanting, fry them, pigs in like bacon. Talking about fry them, pigs, like bacon. Talking about fry them, like bacon. 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 Pigs in a blanket. Fry 'em. Talking about like bacon. Pigs. Fry 'em. Talking about like bacon. Pigs. Fry 'em. Fry 'em. Bacon. Like bacon. Fry 'em. Fry 'em. First time I heard of black side. Pigs. Talking about our police. They would chant pigs. Pigs in a blanket. Pigs. Talking about pigs. Pigs. Fry 'em. Pigs. Talking like about bacon. Fry 'em. Like fry 'em. Fry 'em. Like bacon. Fry 'em. Like bacon. Fry 'em. Like bacon. Fry 'em. Pigs in a blanket. Like bacon. Talking about fry 'em. Pigs. Like bacon. Talking about our fry 'em. Pigs like bacon. Fry 'em. Like bacon. Fry 'em. First time like bacon. Fry 'em. Like bacon. They were chanting fry 'em. Pigs like bacon. Talking about police. Pigs. Pigs. Talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket. Fry 'em. Like bacon. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ